Telling time, Spanish 1. Today we are going to learn how to tell time in Spanish. You have a corresponding worksheet that goes with these notes that you should be filling in as we go along. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to fill in your notes. First, we're going to start off with a quick analog clock review. I know a lot of times people use digital clocks now, however, it is important that you can read an analog clock. So just some reminders, the little hand is your hour hand, and the long hand is your minute hand. So remember, for each hour, that represents 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. At our next one, you guys can see at 12 o'clock, that is representing the 60 minutes or the start of an hour, so we usually say 0. 1 o'clock is your 5, then we have 10, 15 or quarter past, 20, 25 or half past, 35, 40, 45, which is a quarter till, and then 50, 55, and 60. So let's get into telling time in Spanish. So number 1, if you want to ask someone, what time is it? That is going to be ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? So repeat, please. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? We are going to talk about how to tell the time in Spanish using 2 different formulas. So these formulas or sequences are easy because it tells you exactly how to tell the time. You're just switching out the hour and the minutes. So you really need to study this formula and make sure that you have it in your head so that you know all you have to do is switch out whatever the hour may be and whatever the minutes may be. So first we're going to look at the first half hour of each hour. And what I mean by that is minutes 1 to 30. So if I'm talking about 2:01, 2:05, 2:10, 2:15, all the way up to 2:30 or whatever hour it may be. We're going to follow this sequence. We're going to say son las, the hour, y, which means and the minutes. So we're saying it is the hour and minutes. So for example, if I wanted to say it is 3:10, I would say son las 3:10. So this is where it is important that you guys know your numbers in Spanish so that you can fill this in. Another example, if I wanted to say it is 6:06, I would say son las 6:06. So you are just filling in the hour and the minutes. We will look at a few more examples on our next slide. Now, something different in Spanish than in English is at the second half hour, you're actually going to the next hour and subtracting from it. So again, if we are talking about minutes 31 to 59 in the hour, or the second part of the hour, we are going to have a different sequence. So let's take a look at it. It is going to be son las, or it is. We are going to put the next hour, menos or minus, and then the minutes left until it reaches the next hour. So let's look at some examples because I think those will help you more. We have our first half hour, so son las 7:10, and 8:25 is son las 8:25. So now let's look at the second half of the hour. If I wanted to say it is 10:50, I'm going to first look at my hour. The hour is 10 o'clock. So remember, I have to go up to the next hour. So what is the next hour? It's 11, so we are going to write 11. So we'll say son las 11. Then we're going to say minus or menos. And then we are going to subtract from that hour. So there's only 10 minutes left until it reaches 11. So we are going to say son las 11 menos 10. Another example is 3:40. So I am going to look at my next hour. So if it is 3 o'clock, the next hour would be 4 o'clock. So I'm going to say son las 4 menos, and then I need to think to myself, how many minutes from 40 until the next hour? So one way you can think about it is a full hour has 60 minutes. If I subtracted 60 minus 40, that gives me 20 minutes left until the next hour. So I would say son las 4 menos 20. It is 4 minus 20. That tells us it is 3:40. Now we are going to look at a special hour during the day. So this is called the 1 o'clock hour. It goes from 12:31 until 1:30. So let's take a second. Why do we think it starts at 12:31? If you said it's because you have to go up to the next hour, starting from 12:31 to 12:59, you are correct. So thinking about that, remember if it's the second half of the hour, if it was 12 o'clock, we would go up to the next hour, which would be 1 o'clock. So that is why it is starting at 12:31. From 1 to 1:30, we are just saying the hour and the minutes. So why is this hour different? It's different because we're going to start off and we are going to say es la. So we're not going to say son las from 12:31 to 1:30. We would say es la. The reason is because we are talking about 1 hour. So we want to say it is the. We are talking about 1 hour. And this will make more sense when we get into verb conjugation later on in the year. The other hours of the day, we are talking about multiple hours, like 2 o'clock is 2 hours, 3 o'clock is 3 hours. So again, at 1 o'clock, we are going to use es la. So our sequence for this is going to be es la una, which means 1, y, and then the minutes. So from 1 to 1:30, you're just saying es la una, y, and then filling in the minutes. So if I wanted to say it is 1:07, I would say es la 1:07. Now let's take a look at 12:31 to 12:59. So remember, during this part of the hour, we would have to go up to our next hour, which is the 1 o'clock hour. So we are going to say es la 1 menos, and then however many minutes are left until it's 1 o'clock. If I want to say it is 12:50, I'm going to go up to the 1 o'clock hour and say es la 1 menos, and then think to myself, how many minutes from 12:50 does it take to get to 1 o'clock? 10 minutes, so I would say es la 1 menos 10. Let's look at a few more examples. 1:05, es la 1:05. 1:21, es la 1:21. 12:57. Now we're going to go up to the next hour. Es la 1 menos 3. And 12:43, es la 1 menos 17. We are going to practice time for a few more days, so if you have questions, don't worry. We'll practice a lot. There are a few more vocabulary words that I want you guys to know in regards to telling time, so let's take a look at those. When we are talking about 15 minutes, so if I wanted to say it is 1:15, it is 2:15, 3:15, 4:15, 5:15, whatever time, if it is 15 minutes, you can use the number for 15, which is 15, or you can use cuarto. So be careful because the R is becoming before the T, so cuarto. So if I'm saying it is 2:15, I can say son las 2:15 or son las 2:15. If I am using, my apologies, if I'm using son las 2:15, that means I'm saying it's 2:15. So the same thing for 30. We can either use the number for 30, which is 30, or we can use media. So again, if I want to say it is 2:30, I can say son las 2:30, or I can say son las 2:30. Media is just saying it's half past that hour, and it's a lot more common in Spanish to use media than to use 30. Again, both are correct. One's just more common than the other. So a few more expressions to add onto a time sentence. En punto means on the dot or sharp. So if I wanted to say it is 3 o'clock on the dot, I can say son las 3 en punto. That is telling you it is 3 o'clock sharp. Our next one is in the morning, should be de la mañana. In the afternoon is de la tarde. And de la noche is in the evening or at nighttime. We have two more expressions for 12 o'clock. So, es mediodía is it is noon. And es medianoche is it is midnight. So that is it as far as telling time in Spanish. If you need to go back and rewatch anything, you may. Or if you have any questions, you can ask me.